how do you pick who you're going to work with as far as a counterparty? Like, how do you? I know a lot of people, for a transparent asset, it's tricky. What are your thoughts? How did you position? How did you make those choices and those decisions?
I think it's a fantastic question. I think you're going to start running into a few more issues we have on the docket with the SEC soon about qualified custodians for RIAs in crypto, and I think that will be an interesting turn. But the rules, if you are a private crypto fund or a private fund in general, are a bit different than if you're a hedge fund. And those are important nuances, and we're still sort of sorting out what those nuances are. How we choose counterparties, I would say very selectively, and you do full due diligence. This isn't something where I need to get the trade done. You have to anticipate these are 24/7 markets. We have a global network, but we generally don't have people, overlapped awake 24/7. And so you simply just need to anticipate. You need to understand what you're going to do, what you need to do. If you have to move your fund in an hour, that's a problem. You should have found something. That was the foundation of what you were doing was flawed from the start. And so when we choose counterparties, we prefer U.S. ones. We're a U.S. fund, so that helps. That's not always the case, and there's far more liquidity offshore than there is onshore. And so when you look at counterparties, you do the same diligence that you would do as a private equity investor, as a normal hedge fund. You ask them for a balance sheet. If it looks like a balance sheet that a certain crypto CEO published, ex-crypto CEO, I should say, you kind of scratch your head and say, why would I lend you money, or why would I? And this was the norm. People were just excited to give money. People talked about, 9-figure checks over phone calls. That's not something that you should ever be comfortable with. And when people are doing something like that, you should ask and say, hey, why? Can I see a balance sheet? Can I understand what risk I'm taking as a counterparty? And you hold my money overnight. Like, why can't you settle my trade immediately? It's not like the market's closed and you can't settle this. And so asking questions, there's a little bit of FOMO. People always wanted to get, in a zero interest rate environment, if I could lend them my stable coin at 14%, that was a pretty good deal. What I think a lot of crypto participants misconstrued is that you're talking about a fixed income instrument. The most you can ever get repaid is your money. This isn't an equity instrument where I can go to the moon. And you're taking 14% and your downside is 100%. There's really limited upside in that. And that's something that people are learning at the moment. When they get back claims for 80 cents on the dollar. I mean, it's awful. But that's a hard lesson that I think we have to learn. To the point of counterparties, though, we try to talk to our counterparties frequently, understand what's going on, understand the market, and that helps. I mean, some of these markets are so illiquid that, if you want to move hundreds of thousands of dollars, like you have to use OTC desks and you have to use prime brokers, because there's simply not liquidity in some of these names. If you want to trade, Bitcoin and Ethereum, yes, there's liquidity as much as you need, because they trade $5-10 billion a day without fail. But it really, really drops off. Once you go below those names, it becomes incredibly challenging to find the liquidity that you need and maybe the products that you need. And so that just creates the conversation. It's an excuse for us to call people, talk to our network, understand what's going on, what people are thinking, what people are doing, what inventory people have, and understand how they react. I mean, I can tell you that the fastest we'll trade with counterparties once we're onboarded with them, maybe 2 weeks. Spend time understanding how their balance sheet looks, how they process trades, little test trades, understanding what's going on there. So no secret sauce. I would just say kind of common sense due diligence. If you see smoke, there's probably fire below it. I mean, some of the balance sheets that we saw summer of 2022, spring of 2022, you would laugh at. It wasn't a balance sheet. It was a few numbers put on a page that didn't tie out, and they said, hey, here it is, we sent it to you.